Hello guys, and welcome to Juutas Talks. Today I'm going to share my top 10 things that in my opinion should be in the Souls series, but probably never will. Number 10. Add more depth to the character creation. So, the long-wanted beards are confirmed to be in Dark Souls 2, but there is so much more we could have. How about adding different voice options for the characters? I mean, our characters never talk, so their grunts and screams wouldn't take too much time for the voice actor's perspective, but would add more uniqueness on the characters we create. There would also be room for a lot more different gestures like applause, desperation, anger, and so on. Some more body types to choose from would also be appreciated. Number 9. More interesting and difficult New Game Plus experience. I know we already have the option in the Dark Souls to go all the way up to the New Game Plus 7 until the enemies stop scaling, but why don't we just boost this up a bit? What if alongside increased enemy HP and damage we could have more enemies in certain areas and in surprising locations? Just imagine the Anor Londo Archer part of the original Dark Souls if there would be enemies on those bridges too. Also, the NG Plus could prevent the player from using the status curing items like Purple Moss, and maybe even cut their Estus health gain in half. New Game Plus is all about being hard and pushing players to their very limits, so why not just do that and be creative at the same time? Of course this would take some extra time from the development team, but it would also be amazing to see an interesting New Game Plus mode. New Game Plus aside, I would also want to see some randomized events in Souls series. This wouldn't need to be anything big, game-changing things, but just some events that would go randomly different every time you play. Few examples of these things could be like enemies spawning or not spawning on some locations, merchants selling different things or saying different things at times, and so on. Nothing that would make you miss out of the fun given the dice doesn't favor you, but something that would make every adventure feel more unique. Number 8. More available statistics. On my literally thousands of hours spent in Dark Souls, I sometimes wonder things like how many players have I killed, what is the enemy I've killed the most in the game, what is the weapon I've used the most, and most importantly, how many times I have died on this game. It would be nice if the game would keep a record on these things. It would be very fun to compare your statistics with other members of the community. There could also be some crazy ones like what is the biggest amount of damage I've dealt with one attack, or how many dung pies have I used. There is so many things that the game could keep a track on for you, and it would be a nice option to see all these statistics under the separate sections on the menu. Number 7. Add a player interaction area in the game. This is something I don't even know if I would want to be implemented in the game myself, but it's a cool idea to think about. What if there was kind of a safe area in the game, like Nexus in Demon Souls or Filing Shrine in Dark Souls, where you could meet with the other players in a non-hostile manner? You could maybe trade some stuff with other players in there, and some sort of PvP battle arena could also be included. I know this is kind of a wild idea and it would have millions of things that could f*** the game up, but this is also a nice idea to toy with. We wouldn't even need to take the idea this far, and there could just be an area in the game where you can clearly see the other players instead of just their ghost forms. Number 6. Add bestiary. Since Dark Souls has so many different creatures in it and superb monster design, I would like to have the option to know just a little bit more about the creatures I kill. There could be some NPC in the game that sells the bestiary book that fills itself after you kill different monsters. Or let's just say, just for the sake of making it a bit more interesting, after you kill a certain amount of monsters, you could unlock a little bit of info and history of the creatures you've slain, and maybe some neat artwork on the side. Of course this would have to be done in a sense that the mystery of the Souls game still stays intact, but I would trust that From Software could easily implement a feature like this with style. It would be a great little bonus for the lore freaks, and a nice idea as an achievement for the completionists. Number 5. Add Boss Rush mode. If you are not familiar of what the Boss Rush mode is, It is a mode that appears in quite many games, where you can try to fight all the game's bosses in a row, one after another, and see how far you get. Souls series has some great boss battles, and I think we should be able to just fight the bosses if we so want to. So after finishing the game for first time, we could also unlock the boss rush mode. This boss rush mode could also have the co-op option, where bosses double their HP or something. There is plenty of ground to work with here. Even some kind of leaderboard for the boss rush mode could exist. Number 4. Remove the health bars from boss battles. This may sound a bit odd to some of you, but games like Monster Hunter did a great demonstration of the fact that when you have no clue of how much damage you are dealing to the boss, or how much health it has left, makes the fight imminently more exciting. You would need to work way more for figuring out the weaknesses of different bosses. Number 3. Add black powder weaponry. I know. Guns in Dark Souls? Get off it, dude. But guys, listen to me. I've always been a sucker for black powder weapons in games, and lore-wise they shouldn't have too much impact. I mean, we already have black powder bombs and freaking triple shooting crossbow, so the world of Dark Souls would definitely have the necessary technology for the black powder weapons. Just allow me to have a freaking flintlock pistol and a musket and I'm happy, man. Gameplay wise, those could act like a great bows without zooming ability. A mid-range weapon with a great knockback but slow reloading time. Number 2. Implement more things that can be done in the game that affects others. Remember those great little things in Dark Souls that when you, for example, ring the bells of awakening, the other player could hear it in their game. I think this little detail was nothing short of amazing and could be very much expanded in the Souls games. Maybe you could hear other players' footsteps at times or their death screams on some areas. Gravelord Covenant could also have the ability to drop some specific items on the ground that would appear in other players' worlds as some monsters, depending on the item you dropped. The possibilities are endless, and quite frankly I'm a bit surprised that they didn't toy around with this feature more in Dark Souls. And the number one thing I would like to see in Souls series is... remove the Dark Spirit X has invaded box. I really don't like the fact that the host always knows if their world is being invaded by a dark spirit. Removing the huge flashing text box from the screen would always keep the players on their toes, wondering if there is someone else in their world. Of course, there could be some hints for the host to know that there is an invader in the world. Maybe some torches could flicker more, enemies could act restless, or anything else than that huge blinking box of text in the screen. This would also make the stealth type invasions 10 times more interesting. So, those were my top 10 things I would like to see in Souls series. What did you guys think of the ideas? And more importantly, what are the things you would like to see in Souls games? Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section and see you in the next one.